thank you all for joining us today for an update on the avian influenza outbreak in Iowa. We do have a number of media outlets from around the state that we've also connected by telephone so they can at least listen in on this. We think this is an important issue to get out across the state of Iowa. Before the avian influenza was confirmed in Iowa, we watched as the virus struck other Midwestern states, including our neighboring states of Minnesota and Wisconsin. As the virus hit a number of other states, producers began taking proactive steps relating to biosecurity to help prevent and minimize the spread of the virus. Iowa was fortunate that the virus didn't affect our poultry until just a few weeks ago. But given the nature of how the virus can spread, it ultimately found its way to our state, first through a turkey production facility in Buena Vista County. Over the past 2 weeks, our office has been working closely with Iowa Secretary of Agriculture Bill Northey to make any and all resources available to fight the outbreak, including many of our state agencies. I've asked executive branch departments to work with Secretary Northey's team and the USDA to assist in the efforts to fight this influenza outbreak that's affecting poultry. The following agencies are currently assisting in this effort: the Iowa Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, the Iowa Department of Public Health, the Iowa Department of Public Safety, the Iowa Department of Transportation, the Iowa Department of Natural Resources, the Iowa Department of Inspections and Appeals. In addition, the Iowa National Guard is involved in planning and information management related to the situation. It's important to know that there are not risks to humans through this outbreak. I want to repeat that. There are not risks to humans through this outbreak. Throughout the development of this situation, every state resource has been made available to the USDA and Secretary Northey's office and to local governments and producers. However, as the virus continues to spread, I decided that declaring a state of emergency for the entire state of Iowa was necessary. The disaster proclamation allows agencies to better utilize more resources to help respond to these contaminations, as well as plan and enforce travel routes for vehicles hauling products relating to poultry and turkeys, and also possibly the dead birds that would be disposed of. The proclamation also activates the State Emergency Operations Center, where staff from across all relevant agencies will coordinate resources and personnel as effectively as possible. The full proclamation with all the details is available in your press release and on our website, which is www.governor.iowa.gov. And now I'd like to invite Secretary Northey from the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship and our Iowa Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management Director, Mark Scouten, to further address this issue. Turn it over to Bill first.
Okay. Well, thank you, Governor. Thank you for all your support during this important issue. While the disease, once again, is not a human health threat or food safety concern, it's clearly having a large impact on our poultry industry. As you've likely seen by now, we're announcing 4 new cases of avian influenza today, including a large layer operation in Madison County with 1 million layers. Unfortunately, despite the best efforts of everyone to slow the spread of the disease, outbreaks are continuing to appear. We've experienced tremendous support from the state, federal, and local officials, as well as the poultry industry, since the first case of avian influenza was announced 2.5 weeks ago. The emergency declaration just announced by the governor will allow the state to continue to respond aggressively to this disease outbreak. I'm extremely proud of the employees of the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship and our other state employees that have been great partners in this effort to be able to do outreach and surveillance. I also certainly want to mention the great cooperation that we've had with the U.S. Department of Agriculture as well, as they have a strong team here in the state working with our poultry producers and working with all of us. As the disease has spread, it's important to continue to step up our response, and this declaration will allow for that. Also, I know we've talked a lot about biosecurity, and we continue to stress that to all producers. We've been working with USDA, and we'll be providing some enhanced biosecurity guidelines that anyone who has or works with poultry should consider. This includes treating all commercial poultry sites as potentially positive for high-path avian influenza. So it's important to control access to your site and within your site, and to disinfect all vehicles and to consider any person within a site as something that needs to be disinfected so as not to spread the disease within the site. Do not feed poultry any feed material that has been stored outside. And certainly clean up any spilled material that's outside that birds would have any access to. Finally, identify and use routes that minimize transportation of poultry and poultry products near other commercial poultry sites. So hopefully, as poultry farms continue to step up their biosecurity and we see warmer weather, the spread of the disease will be slowed significantly. In closing, I'd encourage all concerned citizens of Iowa within and without the areas or outside of the areas that are impacted to use the Iowa Concern Hotline. That's 800-447-1985 if they have any questions. Where those are food safety questions or concerns about birds that they may have, feel free to use that Iowa Concern Hotline. It's available 24 hours a day. All calls are free and confidential, and operators are willing to assist wherever possible. So, thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Bill. Now we'll turn it over to Mark Scout.
Thank you, Governor Branstad, Secretary Northey. The Iowa Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management plays a coordination role in this disaster. That means we work with the involved state, local, and federal organizations to ensure a timely and effective response. Over the course of the last few weeks, we've worked with IDOLS to bring together state agencies to keep everyone up to date on the outbreak and to brainstorm planning and coordination efforts. Other agencies at these meetings have included the IDOLS, the Iowa Department of Public Health, Transportation, Natural Resources, Corrections, Public Safety, Human Services, Inspection and Appeals, and the Iowa National Guard. We partially activated the State Emergency Operations Center Thursday. Joyce Flynn is here, and she is our operation chief. She is in control of the SEOC, and we did that so we could better involve those state agencies that are already active in this response. It remains today in partial activation, and with the governor's proclamation, it will continue in activation and will be open as long as necessary to continue this coordination among the state, federal, and local agencies as needed. Now, we're also working with local emergency managers in the counties where the outbreaks have been identified, and coordinating with them, keeping them apprised as to activities at the federal level and at the state level. We've talked to Wright County in respect to its local disaster designation. What we're attempting to do with the local coordinators is give them situational awareness and help them coordinate any needs that they might have at the county level. The governor's proclamation today enables those efforts to continue, but to continue on a greater scope as we continue to respond to this disaster. And state agencies before have been responding to the disaster under their own authority. However, today this proclamation gives them additional state resources and approaches that they may apply in the very near future. Homeland Security Emergency Management Public Information Staff is also working with IDOLs to spread the word to the public as requested. We continue to look forward to working with IDOLs in respect to the prevention and the containment of this disaster. Thank you.